The downfall of Carson Wentz has to be one of the most fascinating and unexpected turnarounds in an NFL career in recent memory. At 28 years old, the once MVP frontrunner in 2017 has turned into a shell of his former self and is actively being shopped to other teams less than 2 years after signing his monster extension with the Philadelphia Eagles. From 2016 to 2019, Wentz's 16-game averages were just over 4,000 passing yards, 28 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions, a 63.8 completion percentage, and a 92.7 quarterback rating. In 2020, Wentz somehow put up numbers that he probably did not expect to see until Father Time caught up to him 10 to 15 years down the line. In 12 games, he had 2,620 passing yards, 16 passing touchdowns, 15 interceptions, a 57.4 completion percentage, and a 72.8 quarterback rating. The odd part is it's not obvious as to why this happened. Sometimes players have major injuries that they can't bounce back from, like Derrick Rose or Robert Griffin III, or even sometimes a new system hurts a quarterback and it takes a little while to get adjusted. For Wentz, it was neither of those things. His ACL tear happened in 2017, and Doug Peterson was entering his 5th season with Wentz as his quarterback. With that being said, we're going to try and dive into some film and discuss why Carson Wentz randomly fell off so much at age 28. At the end of the video, I'll list my reasons as to why I personally believe he looked awful in 2020, and we'll discuss if he can bounce back to the player he once was. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and let's get into it. The first clip looks like a simple throw, but a lot of Wentz's modern day struggles are mechanics related, and this is one where I want to focus on the mechanics. The things I want to focus on with this throw are mainly 1, his front foot and how it points towards his target, number 2, how his back foot rotates, number 3, his left arm is making that 90-degree angle, which is what you want, number 4, how his throwing hand finishes near his left pocket, which creates a good spiral, number 5, his wide base to help generate power with his legs, and number 6, of course, the ball placement while hitting Brent Selleck in stride for an easy touchdown. You also have to like his calmness in the pocket, never rushed anything and found the open man because the Rams defender was late getting the Selleck in the flat. Number 2, this is a thing of beauty from a quarterback. He first has the pocket awareness to avoid the linebacker blitz coming off the right side as running back Corey Clement chips him just enough. He then keeps 2 hands on the ball the entire time, which is what you want to see when there's a collapsing pocket, and watch how he keeps his eyes open and waits for his receiver to get open over the middle of the field and hits him in stride for a huge gain. And of course, most importantly, the throwing motion, the footwork were on point once again, which is something to take note of because it's going to look a whole lot worse by the second half of this video. Number 3, the first thing that sticks out for this clip is how good the offensive line was. In 2020, Carson Wentz was under pressure on 190 dropbacks, which was 9th most in the NFL for quarterbacks, but remember that he only played in 12 games. Every other quarterback in front of him played in at least 14 games, and as for a comparison, Jets quarterback Sam Darnold played in 12 games just like Wentz and was under pressure less than he was. Anyway, back to the play, and once again we'll see Carson acting calm in the pocket, scanning downfield, and delivering this pass to Torrey Smith, 40 plus yards for a touchdown. Other than his back foot dragging a little, the mechanics once again were pretty much as good as can be. Number 4, here's another play that was similar to the second one, as once again Wentz senses the pressure off the edge and steps up and delivers a beautiful ball to Nelson Agholor in stride for a huge play. Carson at one point was really good at maneuvering the pocket, and while he still has good moments, we saw many times in 2020 where he tried to do too much and it hurt him. Other than his front foot, which was not terrible but could have been facing more towards the left, the mechanics are on point once again. Number 5, Alshon Jeffrey was never the biggest separation guy, but the elite quarterbacks in this league throw guys open, and this is a good example of it. The ball placement's impeccable, the velocity is great, and of course the footwork was perfect on this play. Never mind the mechanics, but when you can place the ball like this consistently, you're going to be successful as a quarterback. Number 6, anytime a deep ball of over 60 yards is executed, it's a thing of beauty, but this was amazing from Wentz. Once again, you have to attribute some of this to the offensive line being dominant on this play. But everything is perfect on the play, from the patience, the load up before the throw, the pivot with his front foot, lifting his back leg, creating a crazy amount of torque with his hips, the follow through, and oh yeah, placing the 63 to 64 yard bomb right on Mac Hollins for a touchdown. Number 7, so we went back and saw some of the greatness from Carson Wentz's 2017 season, but now time to compare that to his 2020 film and some of the downsides that I saw. So here's a play from week 1 2020, and while the receiver did not make the best effort to come back to the ball, you start to notice a lot of major differences in his mechanics. If you watch Wentz's front foot, it's supposed to be facing towards the target or the left side of the field. As you can see, his front foot is stuck planted facing the middle of the field. You can try this yourself as you're watching the video. It's very hard to throw accurately when your front foot is not facing your target. Not only were the mechanics bad, but the decision making was bad because he had Zach Ertz wide open in the flat, who would have picked up a first down on this play. Number 8, I mentioned this before, but Wentz tried to do too much at certain points, and this is a good example of it. It's a third down, the Eagles are up by 3, they're on Washington's 25-yard line. Any quarterback that has been around for 5 years should realize you cannot take a sack here. There wasn't much open except for maybe a desperation throw to Goddard over the middle deep. Instead of throwing it away and taking the 3 points, he ducks his way into a sack and knocks the Eagles out of field goal range. Number 9, here's a play against the Rams where not only his decision making was very risky, but the footwork was just as bad. Not only was his base super wide, so he's probably relying on all his upper body to make this throw, but he literally looks like he hyperextended his front leg with these mechanics. Like, what is that? Also, instead of turning his body to make the throw easier, he somewhat throws across his body, which probably took some velocity off, and to make a tight window throw like this, you need all the velocity you can get. Number 10, here's a pass that I would like to believe was a back shoulder to Zach Ertz, but honestly, who knows. The footwork / mechanics weren't too bad, but the accuracy on this throw was abysmal. He's supposed to throw it more towards the sideline into Ertz's back shoulder, but the throw leads him inside, right near a defender, which is why it was intercepted. Number 11, here's a play that for NFL standards is considered a layup and should have been a walk-in touchdown. This game actually ended in an eventual tie, by the way, so this would have been a huge play, as this incredible route by Miles Sanders went to waste. Mostly everything else from a mechanical standpoint is fine, except that front foot strikes again. Instead of being pointed towards the left sideline where Sanders is running, it's pointed towards the middle of the field and could be a reason why that throw was way off. Number 12, here's another play where Wentz clearly tried to do too much. I love when a quarterback can spin out to his left and buy more time, but sometimes you have to live to fight another down. The play was a 2nd and 15, but just based on watching it, you think it was a 4th down play with the Eagles down 4+ in the 4th quarter the way this went. Number 13, here's the last play I'll show, which is one that just disgusted me. Wentz literally had the entire right side of the field to place the ball, but somehow throws it to an area that favored the defender, and of course, it was intercepted. It's funny because his front foot actually pointed to the area he should have thrown the ball, but instead throws it towards the left hash, and the rest was history. So that will do it for the film portion of the video, but before we close out, I wanted to list my reasons for why I think Carson Wentz struggled so much in 2020. Number 1, I have the mechanical issues, which is definitely the major inconsistencies, the front foot issues as well, and throwing across his body sometimes. Number 2, I have trying to do too much and playing hero ball. Sometimes quarterbacks make great plays when trying to do too much, but oftentimes it leads to mistakes, which is what we saw a lot in 2020. Number 3, I have the bad offensive line injuries because, my goodness, they were bad. Between the projected starters for the Eagles offensive line, they missed a combined 49 games, which is insane for only 4 players. Jason Kelce managed to play in all 16, but Brandon Graham and left tackle Andre Dillard never played a game this season, not including Jason Peters and even Lane Johnson, who missed some games as well. They literally had a former rugby player playing left tackle some games who wasn't that bad, but still. Number 4, I have the lack of receiving weapons. Taking Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson definitely looks like a massive mistake now, but between Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, Jalen Reagor, Zach Ertz, and Dallas Goedert, they missed a combined 35 games between the 5 receiving weapons. Number 5, I have Wentz missing open receivers due to accuracy issues. Seeing his career completion percentage at 63.8 before this season and seeing it drop to 57.4 is pretty self-explanatory. Number 6, I have Doug Peterson's offense, which seemed to have lost some of its luster over the past couple years, whether that's a fault of his own or the decline of Wentz since 2017, when the Eagles led the league in touchdowns on offense that season. Number 7, I have not protecting the ball, which definitely was a problem at times, but as compared to 2019, it actually improved, so to me it's not the major reason for Carson Wentz falling off. Whoever does end up trading for Wentz needs to know what they're getting into based on his contract, but I still see enough from him to think you can still get the 2018 and 2019 version out of him going forward. Remember, he's still just 28 years old, while the quarterback who just won the Super Bowl is 15 years older. He clearly has a lot of time left if he plays well. That'll do it for this video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, as well as leaving a suggestion for future videos in the comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you next time.